Good morning, YouTube, and wow, what a way to start the morning. We have received loads of new support cards. As you see right in front of you, we've received a brand new Pendulum Link monster, which we'll go over in a very quick second. Off the back of that as well, we've also received Predaplant support, and then support for the Exo Sisters, the Brave tokens, and the Punk archetype. So, with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you do not miss out on any more upcoming news drops like this. So let's start off with the brand new Pendulum monster, which is basically an Electromite. It is a Link 2. It is called Beyond the Pendulum. It requires 2 effect monsters, including a Pendulum monster. If this card is link summoned to the extra monster zone, you pay 1200 life points to add a Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. For the rest of this turn, you cannot activate monster effects, and the effects of cards in the Pendulum zones are negated until you Pendulum summon. So you just go, okay, search out my missing scale, search out my harmonizing, Pendulum summon, effects are all back online. Like, bro, that's mad. If 2 monsters with different original levels are Pendulum summoned at the same time to the zones this card points to, you can target 2 cards on the field and destroy them. You can only use the effect of Beyond the Pendulum once per turn. So not only is it a searcher, but it's also a disruptor, like, or a board breaker in a sense. That is mad, and I love it. I can imagine Triff is going absolutely bonkers right about now. We also have a Norfunk Dire Note. So this is a brand new card for the Funk archetype. We get this in January in Grand Creators, but this particular card we won't get until the next set. I believe these are all due out in the set after back, which will be coming around March, April time. You reveal one other Funk monster in your hand, special summon this card, or the revealed monster from your hand. And if you do, send the other to the graveyard. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 Punk monster in your graveyard except a level 5 monster and special summon it. Also, you cannot special summon a new Funk Dire Note for the rest of this turn. Only use each effect once per turn. So that's pretty good for the archetype. It gives them an additional way of summoning the cards from their hand. And I mean, as much as the Funk archetype is probably the least playable from all of the ones we've got, like Exo Sisters and Grand tokens or Brave tokens, I actually really love the art type style. I think the art style of this is really good. Then we've got Illegal Knight. Again, the artwork of this is beyond stunning. Absolutely love this. So during the main phase, if you control no monsters or you control a Brave token, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you control Brave token, quick effect, you can target up to 2 cards your opponent controls. Give control of this card to your opponent, and if you do, return the targeted cards to the hand. Only use each effect once per turn. So that's pretty cool as well. I mean, apart from the fact that you just give it to them, it's actually a really nice quick effect double bounce. So that's kind of cool for the art type. And then probably the standout to me in comparison to the 3 new ones we get for the Grand Creator set is the Exo Sisters Magnifica. So it requires 2 rank 4 Exo Sister XYZs. It must be XYZ summoned with the above materials. This card can make a second attack during each battle phase. Once per turn, quick effect, you can detach 1 material from this card. Banish 1 card your opponent controls. So non-target, banish. Beautiful. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can return 1 XYZ monster attached to this card to the extra deck. Then you can special summon that monster from the extra deck by using this card you control as material. This is treated as an XYZ summon. Transfer this card's materials to the summoned monster. So basically what that lets you do is, as long as you detach the right material for the first effect to banish, it then gives you a second Exo Sister, which then has the ability of triggering another effect, whether that be a bounce, whether that be a destroy. It still gives them more plays, which is really, really cool. And again, the artwork on these are so good. We've then got a new Psychic card. So we've got Psychic End Punisher. Like, look at that artwork. Just look at that artwork. That is unbelievable. It looks like Zeus, but it's not Zeus. I can't recall the exact dragon. Is it Chaos Ruler Dragon? It could very well be Chaos Ruler Dragon. It requires 1 tuner and plus 1 or more non-tuners. It is a level 11. While your life points are equal to or lower than your opponent's, this Synchro Summon card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life points, then target 1 monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls, banish them. At the start of the battle phase, you can make this card gain attack equal to the difference in life points and your opponent's. So, it's crazy good that it's got a way to beef its attack. Not that it needs it being 35-35. It would have been really cool if its pay 1,000 life points to target a monster you control and a card your opponent controls was a quick effect. That would have been really cool to see. And then we start getting onto the Predaplants. So we've got Predaplant Biblist. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Predaplant monster from your deck to the hand, except itself. So you've got a way of searching out Cobra. If a monster with a Preda counter on it is on the field, you can special on this card from hand, but banish it when it leaves the field. Only use each effect once per turn. Predaplant Buflucia, I believe it is. It's a pendulum scale of 0. During your main phase, you can fusion summon 1 dark fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. Only use this effect once per turn. If this card is used as fusion material for a fusion summon and sent to the graveyard, or added to the extra deck face up, you can add 1 face up dark pendulum monster from your extra deck to the hand, except itself. That's pretty cool. So it lets you recycle your scales. This is actually relatively generic, to be fair. Like, if you wanted to put this in Pendulum Magicians, you could, because it's a 0 scale. And it gives you the ability to recycle specifically darks, and it gives you the ability to specifically fusion darks. So if you wanted to, you could put like Odd Eyes in there and start hard fusion that way. That'd be cool. Predaplant Tritanis. You can use cards in your pendulum zones as material to fusion summon a dark fusion monster as if they were monsters on the field. If this card is used as material for a fusion summon and sent to the graveyard or added to the extra deck face up, you can place 1 Preda counter on a number of monsters on the field up to the number of monsters you control, and if you do, any of those monsters that are level 2 or higher become level 1 as long as they have the counter on them. And then we've got 2 new fusions, Predaplant Amadorus. 2 Predaplant monsters. If this card is fusion summoned, you can add a Predaplant monster or Predap spell or trap from your deck or graveyard or face up extra deck to your hand. You can target 1 monster your opponent controls with a Preda counter on it, or 1 monster you control, tribute it, and if you do, special on 1 Predaplant monster from your deck. What? You can only use the effect once per turn. That's pretty cool. And then finally, we got a brand new Starving Venom Predator Fusion Dragon. What a name. 1 dark fusion monster plus a fusion monster. Nice. This card is always treated as a Predaplant card. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you contribute 1 monster with a Preda counter on it on either field, and if you do, negate the activation. If this fusion summon card you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, target 1 dark monster in your graveyard and special summon it. You can only use the effect of Starving Venom Preda Fusion Dragon once per turn. It's a nice little boss monster. So like, all these cards I absolutely love. Like, this one is so good for pendulums, it's unreal. The Predaplant cards are actually crazy good for Predaplants. Not to mention that the scales are, in theory, quite generic, which is really nice. And then all of the new cards that we receive for the Funks, the Brave Tokens, and the Exo Sisters are absolutely amazing as well. I think they really give the decks a nice little boost or a nudge. And then, obviously, the Psychic End Punisher is awesome. Like, look at the artwork. Over the city landscape, milled in with the Psychic Green, and just, oh, so good. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy these cards just as much as I do. I cannot wait to get these. I don't know what the set is called that these are due out in, but they are due out in a main set, which is After Back, which, like I said, should be in the TCG around about April time of 2022. So what a way to start the day. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys, as absolutely always, stay safe. And of course, happy dueling.
Yeah.